Captain, the signal's back, 3 pulses, same as before. It's calling us by name. Captain Mira Solen didn't look up from the observation deck. Her reflection stared back in the glass, calm eyes beneath the dim crimson glow of the ship's alert lights. Beyond that glass stretched the void, motionless, endless, and wrong. 3 pulses, she murmured, as if tasting the sound. Same pattern from the Trivane ruins. They shouldn't know our language. Lieutenant Arden Vale's voice quivered slightly. They didn't before. Now they do. Mira turned then, the faint hum of the ship's core thrumming beneath her boots. The hum was comforting, human. Everything else about this sector wasn't. For 3 months, the Resolute Dawn had been stationed in the Karth Spiral, a forbidden sector once quarantined after the Collapse Wars. Humanity had come here chasing whispers, an artifact that promised control over stellar matter itself. Power beyond reason, and it was calling to them. Put it on main view, Mira ordered. The forward holoscreen flickered, resolving into a single spiraling glyph, luminous and pulsing in rhythm with the ship's heartbeat sensors. Beneath it, a translation matrix struggled, then resolved into something terrifyingly simple. We remember what you promised. No one spoke. Even the ship seemed to hold its breath. Arden broke the silence. Captain, there's no record of any promise. Not to them. Not to anyone. Mira's voice dropped low. Maybe not by us, but by someone wearing our flag. The glyph brightened suddenly, the surrounding stars dimming as if drawn toward it. The crew felt pressure in their ears, the faint tremor of reality bending. It wasn't just a message, it was a summons. Helm, pull us back 20 clicks, Mira ordered sharply. Now. The helmsman's hands moved swiftly over controls, but the stars didn't move. The Resolute Dawn was no longer moving at all. Ma'am, inertial dampeners are fine. But space itself, Fidos, isn't obeying, Mira finished. Her throat tightened. They're holding us. Something vast, unseen, brushed against the hull. The lights flickered, systems dimming one by one. Deep within the ship, something groaned, a metallic cry like pain. Arden, tell me this is interference, she said. He shook his head, pale. No, Captain. It's contact. The glyph pulsed faster now, each beat syncing to the crew's own heart rhythms. For a moment, everyone felt the same memory flash across their minds. A battlefield of stars burning, cities swallowed by silence, 1,000 species kneeling before one banner, humanity's. And then a voice, not through speakers. Inside their thoughts, calm, icy, ancient, you swore peace. Then you built weapons that devoured suns. You left us to die when your empires fell. Why do you return now? Mira gritted her teeth. Her voice came out steady, sharp. Because peace didn't work. The galaxy forgot us and we survived. We don't answer to ghosts. The glyph dimmed, but the presence remained. It felt amused. You mistake survival for victory. The last time your kind reached for power, the stars trembled. Shall we see if they remember how to scream? Suddenly, the ship jolted, alarms blaring. Space outside the viewport fractured like glass, shards of light folding inward. Every atom of reality seemed to hum at once. Core breach in progress. Someone shouted, contain it. Mira roared. Arden, shut down the translation matrix. It won't stop it, Captain. This isn't language anymore, it's physics. The air felt heavy, vibrating with unseen energy. And yet in the chaos, Mira's mind burned clear. Humanity had come too far to retreat. Divert all power to the null shields, she ordered. We're not going out like frightened diplomats. We're soldiers of Earth. As the Resolute Dawn's engines roared to life, Mira locked eyes with the swirling void outside. The message had become a storm, a living thing spiraling around their ship. She spoke softly, almost a whisper. You want to test what we've become? Fine. Let the cosmos remember who we are. Then she gave the command. Fire. A beam of condensed quantum light speared into the darkness. The void rippled, screamed, then went utterly still. In that silence, the crew waited, breathing hard. The stars flickered back. The glyph was gone. For now, Mira exhaled, her pulse steadying. Log the encounter, she said quietly. Mark this system quarantined. Arden hesitated. You think it's over? She looked once more into the endless dark. Somewhere out there, the universe itself was listening. No, she whispered. It just woke up. And far beyond their sensors, something vast, older than galaxies, stirred, whispering one word through the vacuum. Captain, we have movement. 30,000 kilometers starboard. It's not a ship. It's forming. The voice came from deep within the control pit, where Lieutenant Arden Vale's hands trembled over the sensor console. 1,000 points of golden light flickered outside the resolute dawn, swirling like fireflies. But these weren't lights. Each was a fragment of matter reassembling itself. Metal, bone, memory. Captain Mira Solen leaned forward, jaw tightening. On screen. The hollow wall erupted into motion, a colossal structure assembling itself from nothing. Curved spires, concentric rings, radiant veins of blue energy. The station, or perhaps the being, emerged fully formed within seconds, ancient and alive. It's impossible, whispered Chief Engineer Leora Tan. That's Trivane architecture. Extinct for 12,000 years. Arden's voice was barely audible. They're not extinct? Mira stood tall, hands clasped behind her back. Open a tight beam channel. Let's see if the dead are in the mood to talk. The air vibrated, not sound, resonance. The resolute dawn's hull thrummed like a tuning fork as a response came, not through comms but through the metal itself. Humanity returns. Again. Always reaching. Always taking. Mira didn't flinch. Her words cut like a blade. We come as explorers. We don't take without reason. Your reason is hunger. It always was. You built peace as a weapon. You made silence into a threat. The lights dimmed again. The crew felt the cold creep of ancient memories. The fall of the peace accords, the day Earth's banners burned across alien skies. The memory wasn't theirs, yet it felt carved into their DNA. Arden broke the stillness. Captain, long-range scans show something strange. The station's broadcasting in layers of dimensional frequency, almost like it's rewriting space around itself. Meaning? Meaning we're standing inside a conversation that's older than time. Mira's brow furrowed. Let's find the truth then. She gestured to Leora. Prep a boarding drone. We're going in. Ma'am, that thing made contact with us telepathically. You step inside, you might not come back. Mira gave a small, defiant smile. Then humanity's captain will die doing what no one else dared, looking the universe in the eye. The drone launched, a silver sphere streaking toward the massive construct. As it entered the glowing surface, every monitor flared white. Then the feed stabilized. The view was breathtaking. Vast corridors filled with suspended motes of light, each pulsing like trapped memories. The walls shifted constantly, geometry folding in impossible ways. Mira leaned closer to the screen. Enhance that structure. Those symbols. Translate them. The AI core responded in its monotone hum. Translation partial. Ancient Trivane. Syntax suggests an oath, the symbols rearranged into words across the display. We bound the stars to silence. Humanity broke the seal. A collective shiver ran through the command deck. Arden whispered, Captain. They didn't destroy themselves. We did. Mira's face hardened, though her eyes betrayed something deeper. Guilt, maybe. Fear. History says the Trivane vanished before we reached the stars. Leora shook her head. History was written by survivors, Captain. Maybe the truth was too dangerous to remember. Then the drone feed shifted abruptly. A shape appeared within the station. Humanoid, glowing faintly blue. A being of light wearing the outline of a person. Its voice was soft like the echo of rain on steel. You wear the mark of the Sol Treaty. You are their descendants. You inherited their arrogance, Mira straightened. If your kind was wronged, we'll answer for it. But you're speaking to a new humanity, one that's learned. The being tilted its head. Learned? You hide your wars behind diplomacy, your conquest behind exploration. You never stopped. You only smiled while you did it. The crew tensed. For the first time, Mira had no immediate retort. The being extended its hand toward the drone. The camera flared white again, then the feed went dark. Signal lost, Arden said quietly. Then the sensors screamed. A gravitational surge, massive, impossible. Captain, Leora shouted. That structure's powering something. I'm reading stellar collapse signatures across 5 light years. Outside the viewport, the stars began to fade one by one, swallowed by rippling darkness. The Trivane construct pulsed, absorbing light, energy, life. Mira's voice was iron. Get us out of here. Maximum burn. Engines unresponsive. The crew fought the controls. Alarms wailed. The ship groaned as if the universe itself were trying to pull it apart. And through the noise came that same calm, ancient voice. You came seeking power. Now you will witness its cost. Then the entire system convulsed. Space twisted into spirals of molten light, the sound of creation and ruin colliding. As the resolute dawn tumbled through that impossible storm, Mira's hand found the command console. Her knuckles were white, but her voice, her human voice, cut through the chaos. "We've been to hell before," she hissed, "and we built cities there. You think fear can stop us?" The void seemed to pause, almost listening, and then, impossibly, the stars began to scream. The ship fell through chaos. Every atom in the resolute dawn vibrated like a struck bell, space-time peeling around it in violent waves of light. Metal sang, voices dissolved into static, and through it all came the sound of a scream, neither mechanical nor alive, yet unmistakably full of pain. Structural integrity dropping, 90%, 70%. Arden's words broke into static as sparks rained across the control deck. "Hold it together," Mira roared, gripping the railing as gravity flickered in and out. "Liara, stabilize the core before it tears us apart." The engineer's hands were bloodied, her face pale beneath flickering crimson light. "Trying, Captain." "It's not just space reacting, it's time." The stars outside flickered in and out of existence, collapsing into moments and reforming as new ones. Time was shattering, like a mirror struck by godly hands. Then the voice returned, calm and vast, echoing from everywhere at once. "You still fight. Even now, the galaxy burned because of your defiance. Why can't you simply stop?" Mira looked up, her voice hoarse but steady. "Because we remember what happened when we did." She slammed her hand on the console, forcing the AI to reboot a fragment of the navigation grid. "Arden, feed all remaining power into the temporal shield. We're punching through. Captain, that'll burn the entire energy reserve. Then we'll burn bright." Outside, the Trivane construct had changed form. It was no longer a station, but a colossal figure. A shape made of memory, anger, and light, stretching from horizon to horizon. It stared at them with faceless judgment. "You dare bring fire to the heavens again? Humanity never learns." Mira's laugh was bitter, almost mad. "You talk like gods, but you hide behind ghosts. We're done being afraid of our own history." And with that, she hit the trigger. The ship ignited in brilliance, a white inferno of bending light. For one eternal second, the resolute dawn was everywhere and nowhere. Time rippled outward like waves from a stone cast into eternity. Then, silence. The stars were still. The ship drifted within a quiet silver sea. Mira blinked, her ears ringing. "Report," Liara checked the readings. "Engines offline. Shields gone, but we're alive," Arden frowned. "Captain, this isn't the same sector. None of these constellations match the charts." "Then where are we?" Liara's voice trembled. "Captain, the starfield patterns, it's the Milky Way, but the readings show we're 80 million years in the past." The words hit like gravity itself. Before humanity. Before civilization. Before the galaxy had names. Mira stepped toward the viewport. Outside, colossal structures floated across the void. Living cities, enormous and radiant, drifting like whales among stars. The Trivane, untouched, alive. "They're still here," Arden whispered. "This is before the fall." And then Mira understood the cruel truth. The Trivane had not shown them a weapon. They had shown them memory. "Or worse, a test. This isn't time travel," she murmured. "It's judgment." The ship's AI flickered, static whispering through the speakers. "Incoming transmission. Origin planetary core." On screen, Mira commanded. The image that appeared was staggering. A Trivane council, luminous beings, sitting within rings of cascading light. They looked upon her not as enemies, but as disappointed teachers. "You wish to understand power, so we grant you vision. Behold what your peace became." The image shifted. A new scene unfolded. A shining era of unity among hundreds of species. Humanity's early colonies building harmony, prosperity, trade, then shadows. A fleet rising. The Sol Dominion. Humanity's empire fueled by fear, cloaked in peace. They watched as the Dominion's armadas devoured worlds in the name of stability. The Trivane resisted. For 1,000 years they fought, until the humans created something unspeakable, the silence engine. A weapon that didn't kill but erased. "You unmade our sons, our history, our children. You gave peace a grave." Mira's throat tightened. "That wasn't us. That was ancient humanity. We've changed. You think time forgives? You think evolution absolves memory? The cosmos remembers its scars. For a moment, Mira couldn't speak. Then quietly, "If you brought us here to watch us drown in guilt, you wasted your effort. We learn from our scars." The beings leaned closer, their light intensifying. "Do you? Or do you simply rename conquest?" The bridge fell silent. Every heartbeat echoed like thunder. Leora whispered, "Captain, they could destroy us in an instant." Mira turned slowly, her eyes hard as iron. "Then they'll have to look into the eyes of the last human to stand for peace and see what it costs to break it." As the Trivane's light flared brighter, time itself began to twist again. The stars rippled like liquid, the ship trembling under forces no mortal could measure. Arden shouted, "They're pulling us deeper, Captain. Past the beginning." Mira steadied herself, voice calm amid the roar of creation. "Let them. Maybe it's time the universe remembered who we were before peace." The stars exploded into color. Red, white, blue, human hues painting eternity. The resolute dawn tumbled through the luminescent storm of time, the universe bending around it like molten glass. Stars were drawn into spirals. Planets flickered between existence and oblivion, and yet the ship remained intact, an island of stubborn humanity in a sea of cosmic judgment. Captain Mira Solen gripped the rail, her knuckles white. The bridge was silent except for the ship's core humming a desperate rhythm. Each crew member felt it, the weight of what they were witnessing pressed against their minds. "Report," Mira said. Her voice was calm, but every syllable carried steel. Arden Vale's hands shook over the controls. Sensors can barely hold a reading. Temporal flux is impossible. We're seeing events from a million perspectives at once, and the Trivane, they're everywhere. Not just the construct, everywhere, watching. Leoratan's face was pale, eyes wide. "Captain, I've never seen energy readings like this. It's not just matter. They're scanning thought, memory, even potential. It's like they're weighing us against our own history." Mira nodded slowly. "Then we make them see us as we are, human, flawed but unbroken." Suddenly the ship shuddered violently. A holographic ripple flashed across the bridge, revealing scenes from Earth's past. Burning cities, collapsing empires, and the small victories of ordinary people. Children learning to walk, farmers tending crops, engineers building ships that could reach the stars. Humanity's triumphs and failures flickered like candlelight in a storm. Arden's voice trembled. "Captain, it's showing everything. Every choice. Every war. Every peace we abandoned." Mira swallowed, her gaze hardening. "Good, let them see the truth. Not just the destruction, but the spirit that survived it." The Trivane voice returned, soft, omnipresent, and cold. "You wear your scars with pride. You survived when others perished, yet you still covet power. You have the wisdom of blood, yet you thirst for dominion." Mira's jaw clenched. "We learn from blood, yes, but we do not kneel before fear. That is what makes us human. That is why we endure." The temporal storm intensified. The ship's hull groaned, lights flickering like dying stars. Outside the viewport, civilizations flickered, species that had existed for eons. Worlds consumed and rebuilt. Timelines folding into each other. Then among the chaos, a single image stood out. A human colony, surrounded by alien fleets unarmed and waiting, peaceful, naive, and beautiful. And above them, a shadow, the Sol Dominion, humanity's ancient empire, ruling with iron and flame. "They want us to remember what we lost," Leora whispered. Mira's gaze hardened. "Not lost. Never lost. We survived. That's what matters." The Trivane's presence pressed against their minds, whispering of failure, of collapse, of silence. "You came seeking understanding. You must choose. Repeat the cycle or forge a new path." Mira's pulse quickened, but her voice was steady. "We choose always. And if that choice frightens you, then so be it. Humanity will define its own path, not yours." The stars outside shuddered. The Trivane construct bent inward, spiraling around itself, resonating with the force of their defiance. And then, unexpectedly, a voice, human but unfamiliar, cracked through the bridge speakers. "Captain Solen, you are being observed." "You are not alone." The crew froze. "Who?" Arden began, but the signal cut out, leaving only static. Yet beneath the static there was a pulse, a rhythm familiar yet alien, like a heartbeat echoing across galaxies. Mira took a deep breath. "Whatever it is, it's human. That means we can understand it. That means we can fight." Captain, Leora said, trembling. The Trivane. They're adjusting. The storm. It's responding to us. Our defiance. They feel it. Mira looked at the viewport. The construct's light shifted, not with anger, but with curiosity. And in that moment she knew they weren't invincible. Even the Trivane could be challenged. Arden, she said, voice cold steel. Prep all systems. If they want to test humanity, we'll show them what it really means to endure, not as conquerors but as survivors, thinkers, fighters, as the last species that refuses to kneel. The ship hummed, engines straining against forces that defied understanding. Outside, the storm of light and memory pulsed like a living heartbeat. And at its center, the Trivane waited, watching, testing, judging. Mira's eyes narrowed. Let them come. Let the universe witness who we are. And somewhere in the infinite folds of time, the stars shuddered as if acknowledging a force older than fear itself. Humanity, unyielding, unbowed, and ready to reclaim its place among the cosmos. The resolute dawn drifted at the edge of the temporal storm, caught between realities yet moving with deliberate purpose. The stars outside were no longer stable. They shimmered and flickered like molten silver, hinting at unseen forces bending the cosmos itself. Captain? Arden Vale's voice was tight, each word measured. Sensors show something forming ahead, not just matter, memory. It's building like the Trivane are creating a battlefield from thought. Mira didn't flinch. Her eyes scanned the viewport, observing the storm not as chaos but as challenge. Let them come. If they want a battle, humanity doesn't run from impossible odds. Leora Tan's hands flew over the console. Impossible odds? Captain, that's literally the definition here. That storm, it's rewriting physics. If we move wrong, we'll die? Mira finished, her voice a razor of calm in the maelstrom. Maybe. But dying while standing is better than living on your knees. Outside, the Trivane construct had reformed again, this time taller, broader, a cathedral of energy and memory, glowing with a brilliance that hurt the eyes. Its shape shifted constantly, reflecting scenes of human triumph and destruction. Cities burning, worlds conquered, and lives rebuilt. Each flicker was a warning, a challenge, a test. You cling to defiance. You will learn its cost. The words resonated not in sound but in every cell of the crew's bodies. The air on the bridge felt thick, vibrating with the weight of judgment. Mira's voice cut through it. We've learned cost. We've paid it in blood, in fire, and in the silence of worlds we couldn't save. That is our legacy, and it will not define our future. Suddenly, the space ahead erupted. The Trivane had manifested a series of massive crystalline constructs, sharp-edged, reflective, and humming with the resonance of every life the humans had ever touched. Each shard was a prism of memory, absorbing their thoughts, their emotions, every trace of doubt and courage. Captain, Arden shouted, panic creeping into his voice. They're reading us. Every hesitation, every fear, they're using it. Mira's hands clenched the railing. Her mind raced. Humans survived because they thought differently. They improvised, deceived, and fought smarter than brute force alone. This was no different. Then we don't give them fear, she said, low and steady. We give them certainty. She turned to Leora. Channel the quantum energy reserve into the neural sync matrix. Make the storm feel humanity as one organism. Let them know we are more than individuals. We are a species. We are thought, will, and courage combined. Leora's eyes widened. You're proposing a synaptic override of our own perception. If it fails, then we fail standing. Mira interrupted. The energy matrix hummed to life. Lights raced across the bridge in patterns that made the crew's hearts pound in unison. Outside, the crystalline constructs shivered. The Trivane presence pulsed as if startled by the sudden unity radiating from a single human ship. You adapt. You fight. You endure. Interesting. Mira smiled faintly, voice calm and commanding. Interesting isn't enough to stop us. We survive because we refuse to obey fear. Then the constructs attacked. Waves of pure resonance ripped through the ship. Each pulse seemed to weigh down their memories, pressing guilt, doubt, and terror into every mind aboard. The bridge shuddered, systems overloaded, but the crew didn't falter. Every heartbeat, every breath, every thought synced together. The storm outside collided with their resolve, bending around them. For a moment it seemed impossible, but then the energy returned. The constructs themselves trembled, unable to maintain cohesion against the force of unified human will. "Captain," Arden's voice cracked in awe. We're pushing them back." Mira's eyes narrowed. "No, Arden. We're showing them what humans are capable of. Not our weapons, not our ships. Us. Our minds, our spirit, our unity." The Trivane presence pulsed, brighter, then retracted slightly. It was a retreat not of fear but of respect, a recalibration. "You are persistent. You bear scars with defiance, perhaps. There is potential." The bridge went quiet except for the hum of the ship's core. The storm began to settle, not gone, but contained. Mira exhaled, tension leaving her shoulders in a slow, deliberate motion. "Prepare for course recalibration. Whatever they want next, humanity will meet it head-on." Arden leaned back, still pale. "Captain, we just survived what should have annihilated us. How?" Mira's eyes glinted, a mix of exhaustion and defiance. "Because humans always survive. Not because we're the strongest, but because we refuse to stop thinking, to stop fighting, to stop standing. That's what they'll never erase." Outside, the Trivane presence lingered, pulsing in silent observation, and somewhere deep within that cathedral of energy, something shifted. Curiosity, calculation, perhaps even hope. Mira looked at her crew, pride shining despite the exhaustion. "Rest while you can. The storm is not over, but humanity? We're just getting started." And somewhere in the infinite dark, the cosmos seemed to pause and listen, as though it had never before heard such defiance, such unyielding will. The resolute dawn drifted through the calm after the storm, though calm was a fragile illusion. Outside, stars shimmered unnaturally, some flickering with the echo of memories not their own. The Trivane presence had withdrawn, yet its scrutiny was palpable, like gravity pressing against their very thoughts. Captain Mira Solen stood at the viewport, hands clasped behind her back, eyes reflecting endless stars. "They're testing us," she murmured almost to herself. "Not with weapons, not with fire, with minds." Arden Vale leaned against a console, exhaustion etched into his features. "Captain, I don't know if I can keep up with this. They're probing every thought, every doubt. I keep seeing the past, things we didn't do, things we failed at." Mira's voice was firm, unwavering. "Then use it. Don't hide from it. Fear, regret, doubt, they're tools. Every human carries them, Arden, and we've survived because we know how to turn them into strength." The bridge lights flickered. The Trivane voice, softer now, more deliberate, filled their minds. "Humanity clings to individuality, yet you act as one. You remember history, yet you defy its weight. Why do you resist lessons written in blood?" Mira's jaw tightened. "Because lessons aren't chains. They're choices. You can't control us by showing us our past. You can only challenge us to decide who we want to be. Then decide, show us, or be erased." The words resonated deep in their consciousness, folding reality itself around the ship. The stars outside distorted, reflecting human memories alongside alien histories, civilizations rising and falling in accelerated time. Every crew member saw themselves within those events, confronted by choices they had never made, victories never claimed, failures never survived. Leora Tan's voice broke the tension, shaky but defiant. "Captain, they're drawing out our weaknesses, but I think they're also watching how we respond, our resilience, our ingenuity." Mira nodded. "Exactly. Then let's show them. Prepare the thought link. We'll synchronize fully. Every memory, every fear, every determination. Let them feel what it truly means to be human." Arden swallowed hard. "Full sync. That's risky. Minds could fracture under the pressure." "Risk is what makes us human," Mira said simply. "No courage without it." The crew joined the neural sync, lights dancing across the bridge like auroras, pulses aligning with heartbeats. Thoughts overlapped, mingled, and coalesced into a single stream of human will. Outside, the Trivane constructs shimmered, now reacting not with power but with attention. Curiosity threaded through the omnipotent presence. The Trivane voice returned, calm but probing. "You dare to bind your consciousness, to present a single voice from many? You risk everything. What proof have you that your unity is true?" Mira stepped forward, eyes blazing. "Proof isn't in surviving the storm. Proof is in refusing to let it define you. We are more than fear, more than guilt, more than history. We are human, and humans endure because we fight even when the cosmos is against us. The constructs pulsed, responding to the force of her conviction. The storm outside twisted, not violently now, but like water circling a stone, tested, pushed, yet flowing around the immovable point at its center, humanity's will. Then the Trivane probed deeper, threading through the shared consciousness of the crew. Memories of ancient empires, of wars and peace, of betrayal and mercy, were displayed as holographic scenes in the mindscape. Every crew member felt each other's pain, fear, and resolve as if it were their own. Arden whispered, voice trembling. I see it all. Every human before us, and every choice we get to make. It's beautiful and terrifying. Mira's voice rang out in the shared mindscape. That's the point. Every failure, every triumph, we carry it, and we choose to continue. That is humanity. That is why we survive. Outside, the Trivane presence pulsed once, a vast wave of energy and light, then receded slightly, almost contemplative. The stars settled, colors returning, the storm stabilizing around the ship. You endure. You resist with thought, with memory, with spirit. Perhaps there is potential in your kind. Perhaps you may yet wield power without destruction. Mira exhaled, tension leaving her shoulders. We'll prove it. Not with domination, not with fear, not with weapons. With thinking. With courage. With humanity. The crew slowly disconnected from the neural sync, heart still pounding, mind still resonating with shared experience. Silence hung in the bridge, heavy but different, charged with possibility. Arden looked at Mira, awe and exhaustion in his eyes. Captain, did we win? Mira's gaze swept the calm stars. We survived the trial. That's all we ever need to do, and maybe, just maybe, we've started to teach even the cosmos a lesson about humanity. Outside, the Trivane presence shimmered faintly, distant, yet attentive. Somewhere in the folds of infinity, the universe had begun to recognize something it had never understood fully. Humans, not perfect, not infallible, but indomitable. Mira turned to her crew, her voice soft but firm. Rest, we've been judged. But the test isn't over, and the next choice will be ours. The resolute dawn drifted through a quiet unlike anything the crew had ever known. Outside, the stars no longer flickered or screamed. They shimmered in soft, patient light as if waiting. Even the Trivane presence, the omnipotent, timeless judge that had pushed them to the edge of comprehension, remained still. Observing, Captain Mira Solen stood at the viewport, the weight of months, centuries of memory pressing on her chest. She didn't flinch. Humans survived weight. That was their nature, Captain, Ardenvale said, voice low. They're waiting for our decision. Whatever comes next, it's on us. Mira's gaze swept across the bridge, resting on each weary, determined face. They're not offering victory. They're offering choice. And choices are always dangerous. Leoritan's hands hovered over the console. The constructs, they've stopped attacking, but they're alive with potential. They could destroy galaxies with a thought, or they could build. Then we decide, Mira said. Not with fear, not with force, but with thinking. Humanity isn't perfect. We've caused pain and we've caused miracles, and if we ever want to be more than memory, we must choose wisely. Outside, the Trivane presence pulsed one last time. A corridor of light unfolded, a bridge stretching across space itself. Within it, countless visions of civilizations, timelines, and lives played out. Each reflected the possibility of humanity's future. Empires rising in conquest, stars dying in war, and worlds thriving in collaboration. Decide, humans. Shape what comes next. Mira stepped forward. She thought of the past, the wars, the silences, the betrayal. She thought of the small victories, children laughing in sunlit fields, engineers reaching for the stars, strangers helping strangers across impossible distances. She thought of her crew, standing with her through every impossible moment. This is who we are, she said softly. Yet the words carried across the bridge, across the void. We survive because we fight with our minds, our hearts, our will. We fail because we refuse to let history define us. We rise because we choose to rise. The Trivane constructs pulsed, as if testing the weight of her declaration. The stars outside shimmered brighter, reflecting the energy of her resolve. Then one by one, visions of destruction faded, replaced by worlds growing in light. Species collaborating instead of warring. civilizations reaching for understanding rather than domination. Arden's voice shook. Captain, they're waiting for confirmation. They want to see if we commit. Mira's eyes burned with clarity. We commit. Not to conquest, not to vengeance, but to thought, to creation, to enduring. Humanity will no longer be the universe's punishment. We will be its spark. The Trivane presence seemed to pause, the cathedral of energy folding inward. Then slowly it dissipated, releasing the resolute dawn into calm space. Stars returned to their natural rhythm. Time settled. The storm was gone, not defeated, but respected. Leora whispered, "Did we—" Mira's lips curved in a tired, resolute smile. "We survived their judgment. But more importantly, we chose to rise instead of repeat. That's more than survival. That's humanity." The bridge fell silent. Every crew member felt it. A weight lifted, a presence no longer pressing down, yet leaving something behind. A recognition, a memory of what humans were capable of, courage, defiance, empathy, and relentless hope. As the resolute dawn turned toward the nearest star system, Mira looked at the endless expanse of the cosmos, whispering to herself more than anyone else, "We will not kneel. We will not repeat the mistakes of the past. We will endure, and the universe will remember humanity." And somewhere in the vastness beyond sight, the stars seemed to pulse in reply, not with judgment, not with fear, but with recognition. Humanity had survived the impossible, claimed their place among the cosmos, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as thinkers, fighters, and dreamers. The resolute dawn sailed on, a single ship carrying the indomitable will of a species that refused to bow. The universe stretched ahead, vast and full of challenge, but for the first time, humanity faced it unafraid, guided by knowledge, courage, and choice. And in that moment, the cosmos shuddered, not in anger, but in awe.